So it looks, guys, they just sentenced the one of the last officers in George Floyd's death, and they convicted him or sentenced him to some crazy time. Especially since this isn't Derek Chauvin. This wasn't the guy that was on the neck, at least, and he's getting more time than a couple of the other officers that actually was helping Derek Chauvin keep him subdued on the ground. So we're getting a little weird, guys. This is something we really need to pay attention to, because it just shows that if the culture and things are going one way, that the laws are going to be upheld and strictly upheld for one side of the argument without even taking in the details and the facts of the case. We're going to really get into it, guys. I want to show articles and stuff and not just go based off what I have here, because this is very important that we understand the facts of what really happened and the facts of the full context of how he died is very important, because it seems like some people are split on this, and I think the only reason people are split on this is because they don't have never seen the full side of what really happened with this. So we're gonna get into it, guys. But welcome to Get Into the Facts. I'm your host, Andrew Curiel, and before we get into this, guys, if we could smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All that stuff really does help out the channel, and we're just gonna keep making this as good of a production as we can. All right, but we're gonna hop right into it right now. We got this first article. This is the last officer, Officer Tao, that we're talking about here. A former Minneapolis police officer who held back bystanders while his colleagues restrained a dying George Floyd has been convicted of aiding and abetting manslaughter. And right there, before we even get any farther, guys, aiding and abetting manslaughter when he wasn't even holding Derek Chauvin down. He wasn't helping with any of that. He was just making sure the crowd didn't get too close, since it was a hectic scene, obviously. I don't understand how this guy can get charged. He's doing his job. He's a police officer. This isn't some random citizen on the side of the road that decided to do this. His job is to protect and serve, and he doesn't know the full context of what's going on. And if you saw the whole video of George Floyd was acting erratic from the very beginning. Before they even got him in the truck or the SUV, he was acting erratic. He was saying to put him on the ground and that he couldn't breathe when he was in the SUV. Before the knee was even on him, he was he was asking the cops to put him on the ground, and that he still couldn't breathe in the truck. He's claustrophobic. So again, guys, there's just a lot of misconstruing evidence and some missing context when it comes to this. But Tao, who already had been convicted in federal court of violating Floyd's civil rights, was the last of 4 former officers facing judgment in state court in Floyd's killing. He rejected a plea agreement, and instead of going to trial, let Hennepin County Judge Peter Cahill decide the verdict based on written filings by each side and evidence presented in previous cases. There is proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Tao's actions were objectively unreasonable from the perspective of a reasonable police officer when viewed under the totality of the circumstances, Cahill wrote in a 177-page ruling. Guys, how can you even say that? All he was doing was keeping people away from the scene. That's all he was doing. I just don't get this. I don't understand. And again, they're just doing this to please the angry mob of people that are upset just for wanting to be upset that a black man died. They don't even care. They don't even care about the full context of what really was going on. They don't care that the dude already had fentanyl in his system, which we're going to get into what fentanyl does to the body. But come on, I'm not saying that these cops are 0% at fault for him dying, but they are not at fault to the level of what they're charging them for. I think Derek Chauvin got over 22 years in state and in federal, so over 44 years. The other guys only got 3.5, something like that, which I don't understand. They were actually helping Derek Chauvin with touching George Floyd when he was on the ground. This guy Tao was just keeping people away from the scene. So it's just like, what the hell is this? But we're going to watch this little clip here too, guys, because I thought it would be really, really cool to just hear from the news side of things on really the breakdown of this. So let's just play this here, see what we got.
George Floyd's murder. Tao is the last of the 4 former Minneapolis police officers to be sentenced at the state level.
Cece is live at the Hennepin County Courthouse with more on what we can expect this morning. Hey, Cece.
Hey, good morning. Tao's sentencing is set for 9 this morning. Now, unlike J. Alexander King and Thomas Lane, Tao didn't accept a plea deal in his state case. But instead of, going to trial and then letting a jury decide his fate, he's actually going to have Judge Peter Cahill do that. Now, in May, Tao was found guilty of aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. Today's sentencing comes as Tao is already serving a 3.5-year federal sentence. Back in May of 2021, a federal grand jury indicted Tao on 2 counts of depriving Floyd of his civil rights. He was then sentenced in July of 2022. He appealed that federal sentence, but just this past Friday, an appellate court panel upheld the federal convictions. As of this morning, Tao is in custody at the Hennepin County Jail. Back to you.
All right, Cece, thanks for that update.
Now, the cases for the other officers involved have wrapped up. Derek Chauvin was found guilty of second-degree and third-degree murder, as well as second-degree manslaughter. He was sentenced to 22.5 years in prison by the state and 21 years on the federal level. He's now in a federal prison over in Arizona. Meanwhile, Thomas Lane is serving a 3-year prison sentence in Colorado, and J. Alexander King is behind bars in Ohio, serving 3.5 years.
So
Guys, that is absolutely crazy, the amount of time that they got. And again, it's just, if you look at what happened and you just say, oh, a guy died while in police custody. Okay, then you'd be like, oh, well, then throw the book at him, right? But when you take into the context, the type of drugs that he had in the system, his erratic behavior before he even got into the SUV. I've watched the full video, guys. You can Google it. Watch the full police body cam from the very beginning, from the time that they go to his SUV, get him out of his SUV. They're talking to him, trying to get him to just go into the SUV. They're like, I'll lower the window. We'll crack the window. They were doing everything they could to make this guy happy and listen. And it's just so crazy that we're doing this, because all this is going to do, guys, all this is going to do is cause police officers to not want to do their job properly. They're not going, that if you see an erratic 6'7" guy giving a fake $20 bill at a store, the cop's going to just like, oh, well, we'll just let him go. We're like, just let him we're not going to do nothing. I mean, this isn't just your job on the line. Your freedom is on the line now. Cops don't get paid enough for that. They get paid like anywhere, depending on your experience level. I mean, you only get paid like $45,000 to like $70,000 a year, I think. And then if you get to be a detective or something like that, obviously it's more. But you really don't. You don't have any protections anymore as a cop. And I'm not saying give cops full reign to do whatever the hell they want. We need to have guidelines and we need to have structure so cops don't abuse power. I'm not saying that we should just give them a full on power trip when it comes to this stuff, guys. But we also have to think with some common sense. And when we're talking about this George Floyd thing, it's not like George Floyd had no drugs in his system and it was just a knee on his neck and he said he couldn't breathe and he ended up dying. This is not the case with that. And I brought up this too. We're going to go over here, the medical examiner from the NPR. And it said, in addition to fentanyl and methamphetamine, the toxicology report from the autopsy showed that Floyd also had cannabinoids in his system when he died. Floyd also had heart disease, hypertension, and sickle cell trait, a mostly asymptomatic form of the more serious sickle cell disease, an inherited blood disorder that primarily affects African Americans. That is just insane, guys. He had all these issues going on. And let's just see, what does fentanyl do to the body? Okay. What does fentanyl do to the heart? More importantly, If you experience any of these symptoms, stop using fentanyl and call your doctor immediately. Slow, shallow breathing, decreased urge to breathe, difficulty breathing, extreme drowsiness, dizziness, confusion, fainting. Guys, all of that is what George Floyd was experiencing too. So how can you say that the knee on the neck was the biggest contributing factor when the guy had, from the last article that I read, which I should have pulled this up, but he had over 3 to 4 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in his system. He had something called a speedball in his system which is fentanyl and methamphetamine mixed together in one pill. And I got this article too. We could watch this or read this. Defense attorneys for Derek Chauvin. Defense attorneys for Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer accused of killing George Floyd, said Wednesday they found a narcotic speedball pill with Floyd's DNA in the back of Chauvin's squad car months after police searched the vehicle for evidence. A forensic analysis of the pill performed at the request of Chauvin's defense team revealed fentanyl and methamphetamine, the New York Post reported. Chauvin's police car was searched by the defense in January. The car had been previously sealed since May 27, 2020. Guys, this is just insane. It's just really insane how we're doing this. Because it's doing is it's putting us Americans, us average Americans, it's putting us at risk, because now cops all around the country are going to be hesitating to do their job when they need to do their job. All it's going to do is make crimes go up more. You're going to see way more petty thefts. You're going to see way more of people trying to use fake bills, knowing that the cops are never going to get called in this, especially if you're a minority. They're not going to deal with that. They don't want the blowback. They know the media is going to be on them right from the get-go if they do. I mean, it's really crazy, guys. And I really feel like this is something that we shouldn't be so polarized on either. Like, can we please just look at the facts on this? We gotta be able to look at the facts on this and realize, yeah, did the knee on the neck contribute to him not being able to breathe? Yeah, I would say possibly. I personally would say 25% at fault. But when you have fentanyl 3 to 4 times the lethal amount in your system, along with methamphetamine, and yeah, he had weed in his system, but that don't matter. But methamphetamine on top of that. And if you look at what fentanyl does to the heart, it brings down your urge to want to breathe. It makes it difficult to breathe. It brings down your oxygen levels. How can you say that wasn't one of the biggest contributing factors? Along with his heart disease that he had, where one of his arteries was 75% blocked, according to the medical reports. I mean, it's just important to understand these facts, guys. It's important to understand this because, again, they're making big changes to the police departments. They're making big changes to the way cops are going to want to get involved in certain situations. And all this is going to do is hurt us. Especially the bigger city that you live in, the more this is going to hurt you. Okay? Because now you're not going to have no cop. Nobody's going to come to your rescue. If somebody tries to steal your purse, if you're a woman, someone tries to steal your purse and tries to run away with it, you're not going to have a good Samaritan trying to help out and go tackle the guy and get your purse back. Why would you? You're going to be afraid that they're going to throw the book at you for breaking his arm or breaking his shoulder by tackling him or something. It's just, we need to be careful. We can't be so emotional when we go based off this, okay? We have to look at the facts. We have to. Facts don't lie. Emotions will, because emotions are opinions. Your emotions, how you feel on something, is your personal opinion. So when we're talking about things that affect millions of people and the domino effect of what's going to happen in situations like this, we just got to be more aware, guys. We got to be more aware. We got to wake up a little bit. Let people know. I let all my friends know that have a different viewpoint on this than I do. And I just asked them, do you know the facts on it? Did you watch the whole body cam footage, not just that little 20, 30-cent clip that they put on the news? Like, did you watch the whole body cam? Did you see the toxicology report? Come on, guys. I mean, I'm not super smart. I'm smart enough. Okay. And you just got to allow the facts to guide you to the full context of what really happened. Okay. But again, guys, it's all love here. I just want everybody to succeed, and I don't want anyone to get duped. I don't want anyone to get played on their emotions. You know what I mean? Because this was a very emotional thing. When I first saw it, when I first saw the video, I was like, man, this looks like I was on the side of everyone mad at the cops. I mean, I really was until the reports started coming out, the toxicology report started coming out, the full body cam footage came out. Like all that, it all matters. And I mean, if you don't look at that, you're never gonna see it. And that's what they're hoping on. They're hoping that you're just gonna be more on the headlines and not do it. But again, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay blessed, and I'll see you on the next video.